Okay, got another meat getter item for you. I gotta quit banging these things around, making noise. This is another post SHTF, and you basically got to get your own food. You're beyond your preps. It's just like the video I've done on the traps and trapping and all that, the cages and all that business. But you're going to have to go out now and either hunt your own food, trap your own food, grow your own food. You've gone beyond your preps. This thing's turned out to be worse than we thought. And you're out there humping it to make a living. So what I got here, this is a fishing item. It's called a fishing yo-yo or a mechanical fisher. This is all the stuff I picked up when I've been in bushcraft for a long time. And sometimes I forget that, if I'm talking to people that are preppers and not necessarily savvy with the bushcrafting stuff. So a lot of bushcraft or, wilderness survival and prepping crosses a lot of paths. And so I forget sometimes that the people I'm dealing with here may not have any idea about these kind of items. If you've seen this kind of thing before, that's great, but maybe a lot of people haven't. And this video and the other trapping video is basically you're out there just trying to survive, make a subsistence living, they call it. But if you had to basically hunt your own food, raise your own food, that sort of thing. This is one of those items. This is what they call a mechanical fisher, or some call it a yo-yo. What it does, it's spring-loaded. You've got your little line here. Let me grab it. Okay. You're going to put a leader of, say, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, depending on what you're doing, depending on what kind of body of water you're dealing with. You might put some sort of flotation device. Could be a piece of wood, a cork, trying to look natural, or just a simple bobber. And then you're going to have a hook with your whatever your suggested bait is. And this thing's floating around out there. What could be live bait, could be a worm, something like that. But what it does is you're going to hang this thing from the tree or from the side of the bank, or even a stake that you have on the ground. Open this thing up. I got to hold it correctly. Okay, so while this thing is out there floating around, I got to set it. First, you got to know how to use it. Okay, see the end of this thing's just out here floating around. You got your leader out there. Fish comes along, grabs the bait, and when he takes this thing and walks off with it, feels the tension, and then gives it a tug, it sets, and it reels him in. So basically what you'd end up with, if you're going to get a really large fish, it might just, he's still swimming around out there. But if you secure this properly, anything pan size or smaller, it'll lift them right out of the water. But basically it'll set the hook, and but this is something you'd hang it from, something above the water. Some guys, I've done it before. I've set on the ground. I've actually used these. Set this on the ground, but they get jammed up in some other stuff. If you have this thing dangling there, and this thing's floating along, usually from a tree limb, something like that, you can put a stake in the ground. This is basically more or less reels the fish in. The idea behind this, it's another, force multiplier, for lack of a better phrase. You buy these by the case. You get these, a dozen at a time, and you could set these all along riverbank, lakes, that kind of thing, and you can set these all over the place. And like I said, if you have one fishing line in the water, you have a chance of catching one fish. You put 10 lines in the water, you improve your chances. Not legal. This is not legal currently in the state of California. Most of everything I've mentioned about this little meat getter stuff, none of it's legal currently. These are things you're going to use. I think back east you can use these, but these are things you're going to use when that no longer matters. WROL, whatever you want to call it. But little things like this, I think a dozen of these might cost, I can't remember now, I bought them so long ago, but they can't be $1 something a piece. They're really cheap. But they're made well. It's not like they got to do a whole lot. But these are a neat little item if you have a body, if you live out in the middle of nowhere with no water, it's not going to do much good. Although you can use this as a trapping driver, as a way of setting a noose, that kind of thing. Certain kind of trapping, you could use something like this for small game type stuff, but I haven't had to deal with that. Plus, that's illegal here. But anyhow, this is a great little tool, not very expensive. You can set these up. A little kid can set these. It's not, you know, you don't have to be a super fisherman to figure this out. You're putting more bait on hooks, floating it out there. Something's going to come along and catch a fish for you. So you buy these by the dozen. You get a box of 12 of these. I think I might have 2 boxes, but it's the kind of thing where it's just a force multiplier. Something's going to catch fish. If you got your whole case out there, you're going to get more than one. Okay, use any kind of decent bait, you're going to catch something. But something like this could put meat on the table. I mean, you know, put some on your plate there, keep you afloat. Once again, this is a mechanical fisher. You see these on, I think I bought these from Amazon. They're all over eBay. Very inexpensive. You know, I don't know what good it's going to do me out here in California since there's no longer any water here. But you guys live up in Canada and back east where there's a river everywhere. This is right up your alley. It's pretty much worthless for me at the moment, but it might rain this year. You know, keep praying for that. So yeah, check these out. You can buy these real cheap, eBay. It's a mechanical fisher. Put some meat on the table. Thanks.